I'm excited today on the show, the Tich Mataz show. We have an amazing, magnanimous superstar. Some say, Aningano Dada. I guess, Abamuziwe Chaizo. He's my brother. We have had a relationship for many, many years, and possibly one of the most celebrated broadcasters of our time. His name is Tony Friday. Tones.
Mr. Mataz.
How you doing?
It's good to be here.
Glad to have you on the show.
I am honored that you found me worthy to sit in this chair and be chatting to you.
Let me tell you a story, guys. We recently did a whole documentary on Tony Friday. That was about a year ago.
Yeah. 6 or 7 months ago, yeah.
How's the post-production going?
Going great. Looking forward to the final product. The world is waiting for it, so yeah.
Right. In the business, 26 years.
26 years in the business, yeah.
Began at the age of 20.
Yeah, I started radio at 20.
What did you tell yourself then? The 3 most important things you told yourself at the age 20.
To be very honest with you, the story didn't start when I was 20. I think when I was as young as 10, that's when the story started to rewrite itself. And I say rewrite itself because I think that a lot of things that have happened in my life are not things that I set out to do. But life was sort of leaving me as opposed to me leaving my life. So 2010, I met a gentleman called AJ, the Black Saint. He was a club DJ. 240 Street, Western Triangle, Highfields. Fieldsburg. So he moved in across the road from where I was staying in 240 Street. And then he was a lot older than me. I think this guy was in his 20s at this point. They used to jam at circus, him and his other crew.
Did you ever go to circus?
Never. Well,
you were too young.
No, I was too young to go to circus. I was 10 at this point, so just started hanging out with this guy. Every time when I come back from school, I'm at his house, I'm going through vinyls and he's showing me how to DJ and showing me turntables and everything. And I just grew this.
For those of you who don't know, turntables, a turntable.
Yep.
And this is one of the designer Ford Mustang turntables.
There we go.
This used to produce amazing, magical music.
Yep, absolutely. So, started hanging with this guy and I grew this obsession with DJing and understanding music. And the original genre of music that introduced me to DJing was house music, 90s house music, 10 City, Kathy Dennis and all of those artists. So that's how I grew a passion for mixed DJing.
Okay.
But of course, radio happened a lot later on.
So you first started off
as a mixed
DJ.
Yeah.
At the tender age of?
I would say 12. To start getting paid for it when I was 15. I got my first paid gig at 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been at it for quite some time.
It's been a while. Yeah. So that's
as part of the research, I read that you were 12 years old and you were at school and there was an encounter.
Yes.
With your destiny. Tell me more.
So what happened was, quite an interesting story. So when I was in primary school, I had this thing that I was either going to be a DJ or I was going to sing.
Oh, really?
So I started writing songs. Yeah, that's actually where the name Friday comes from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
hip hop? Oh, what kind of genre?
Hip hop. I was a huge fan of Pieces of Ebony, Mau Mau, and all of those people from Midnight Magic and all of those guys. So I started writing songs, and then I got the opportunity in 1995 to actually record a song. And the song was called Friday. So took this cassette to
TDK. Was it a Sony?
It was what was the name of this brand? I'm forgetting the name of the brand, but you would know it. But took it to ZPC.
Yeah.
It ended up in the hands of James Maredadi,
yes.
J-Touch. I randomly walked into the station at 15
to promote your song.
To promote my song. And then I came across James Maredadi, and he was about to start his drive time show, which was starting at 3, and this is like 20 minutes to 3. And he sees this kid in uniform holding a cassette, and he says he sings, and then he plays the song. It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
And he's like...
Still have a copy?
Unfortunately,
come on now.
I lost the copy over the years. Anyway, I ended up on the radio on that very same day.
Okay.
with James Mataz. We did about a 10-minute interview about the song. So he was asking me where I come from and what I want to do with this music and all of that. But while I was in the studio,
That's when you got the bug.
That's when the bug really hit me.
Yeah.
Because I was in this massive studio. I always used to listen to a lot of radio. I listened to you and all the older guys, John Matinde and Josh Makawa.
Don't let him tell you that.
Josh
I'm
Makawa.
younger than him. I am younger than Tony.
Josh Makawa.
Incredible guys, man.
So listening to the radio, you imagine what the radio studio looks like.
Yeah.
The image that I had of the radio studio that I had
Isn't that interesting?
was
I think
a spaceship. I don't know why I had the image of a spaceship.
I actually felt the same way as a young boy listening to the Tempest.
Yes.
At the time, in Highfield.
Tempest was supersonic.
Oh, Tempest supersonic. Wooden speakers.
Yes, wakadhoiri pamusoro.
Nika vanish so.
Kutambira mulounge mabva
Aiwa.
zvaira
Totally forbidden.
In radio erira pa Christmas kana pa birthday kana kuti
Kana pa muchato.
there had to be some occasion. You wouldn't just play this Tempest. So ended up in the studio with J Touch. And I'm like, man, this is massive. I want to do this because he was doing it so effortlessly, So I think that's when the seed for radio was really born. I speak more about this in the documentary. Then it would take me another 5 years to then enroll into communications and journalism school, after which I then joined ZBC Sportnet on attachment.
Oh, really?
And then I found my way to radio while I was on attachment in 2001.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to set a foundation of what we're going to have to talk about a little later on.
Sure.
You were living with your mother then.
So my mother had passed on in 1997.
And
then
your father was still around.
My father was, but my father had kicked us out of the house.
I want to talk about that.
So 1997, I just finished writing my O's. Then my mother had just passed on. Then my dad, it was me and my brother and my other younger brother who was still at the house. My other siblings were, had their own families elsewhere. So
then Dara just felt, listen,
he wanted to get a new wife.
Yeah.
He wanted to get a new wife. So, when people
new love and romantic interest. Pillow
talk, 1-2-1-2. So we were shared amongst my mom's relatives. We were very close. So I was given to one of my mom's cousin sisters, and my young brother was given to my mom's older sister.
Samakoni is your father's name?
Father's name, yes. I had just finished my O-levels, was supposed to start A-level, but there was nobody to pay for my
tuition at the time.
My tuition at the time, because my dad wasn't going to do it. He's got a new wife. He's got a whole thing going on there.
Did you ever create a relationship with your stepmother thereafter?
Never. I never did.
Any siblings from that relationship?
There was one that I know of.
Right.
You never know with his mother.
Did you ever communicate?
No, we didn't. So what happened was, because I badly wanted to do my A-levels, but then nobody was going to pay for so I got a job as a gardener.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Mount Pleasant. So did 2 years of that. So I was doing gardening during the day and getting paid, and then doing night school. So I actually didn't go for formal school for my A-levels. I did night school for my A-levels. Did that, got into college, had passed with flying colors, ended up on attachment at ZPC, made a demo cassette, which ended up in the hands of a guy called Kizito Chitauro, who gave it to a guy called Walter, who gave it to Witness Matema, who then gave it to the station manager. And then I was called for an audition at Radio 3. And the rest, as they say,
is history.
Is history.
Tony Friday, my very special guest right here on the Tich Mataz Show. What a story. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for checking us out each and every week here on the Tich Mataz Show. Interesting how way back in the day, if you wanted to be heard by a radio or even a television station, you had to create what they called a demo tape. So in the case of Tony, it went from one hand to another through the Chumen Witness Matema.
Yep.
And eventually they
Yeah.
listened to your demo tape.
Yep.
When did they call you?
So I got a call from Tsitsi Mawarire because she was one of the senior people at Radio 3 at the time. She gave me a call, come to Gweru, because the station had relocated to Gweru, to the Midlands. So did an audition, killed it.
Yeah.
And then it took about a month for me to get my first slot, which I started doing. Started off with the graveyard shifts for about 3 months, and then I graduated onto daytime, and that was it.
And then Tony Friday
Was born.
was unleashed.
Was unleashed. Yeah.
Your first show was after, obviously, everybody gets trained.
So you get training for on the graveyard shift.
yes.
Yeah, you sharpen your craft there, and then when they feel you're ready. But interesting thing was, I wasn't even employed full time at the time. But I was doing like 5-6 shows at the time because the guys in Gweru.
And the money was still decent there already.
Yeah. The money was quite okay. So
you could make a living.
I used to do my gigs in the clubs and then doing radio part-time, not getting paid. I think I only signed my first contract after about a year.
Okay.
But that was how things unfolded.
Unfair. Anyway.
No, it was absolutely necessary for me to go through that because then I got an appreciation of
Gave you the foundation.
radio. And also the passion that I had for radio, I didn't care about money. All I cared about was, connecting with people through music, through conversation, through my presence on air. And I loved just the chemistry that I started building with the audience. And yeah.
Which do you prefer? Club DJ or radio?
That's tough. That's a tough one. I'm more in love with radio now, but I love mixed DJing because it's my first love.
Okay.
And then radio came a little bit later on. So I don't know if I could, maybe more radio now. Anything else, yeah.
You kind of want to settle, so perhaps.
Yeah, I think
Less
I'm
movement.
seeing the last of my days as a mixed DJ. I don't
Really?
know, maybe for about a year or two. I'm not too sure.
No,
but,
man, we need you. We want Tony. We want Tony.
So, yeah, I'm more in love with radio now because of the ability that it gives me to emotionally connect with people on a massive scale. And you don't even have to meet these people. You just speak from the heart, say things that matter, connect with someone, change
Huge
lives.
social contacts.
Exactly,
And they grow up with you. They're part of the family.
And the most amazing things happen when you are able to connect with people on an emotional level. I've had such weird incidences where people met me for the first time and they felt like I was their best friend.
Cool.
They felt like they've known me for all these years, and yet you've never met these people. So
I understand.
yeah,
Take it back to the question again.
Yeah.
You were 20 when you started.
yeah.
When you were initiated into the industry.
Yes.
The 3 things you were focusing on then versus what are you focusing on now?
Now, I think back then there was a lot of finding myself at the beginning. I hadn't got acquainted with who Tony is. But now I think I'm more comfortable with who I am. There was a lot of gimmicks in the beginning, as you know. You're trying to make an impact, and you have people that inspire you, the likes of Mataz and all of that. So you become like different personalities in the beginning until you settle into who you are. I'm much more comfortable with Tony now because I understand him a lot more, and I know the things that he likes to talk about. And I think I have been mastering the art of just connecting with other human beings. Yeah.
Any disappointment?
Way too many. Not disappointment, but sort of like downsides to radio. If there's one thing that I could do without, it's the fame. I could do without the fame.
Too late, Tony.
I could do minus everything else minus the fame. I could do without the fame.
So you're such a famous and popular individual. I've heard this, all right? He's here to confirm you have 5 wives and 15 children.
Oh, gosh.
Is that true?
I wish. I have 0 wives. I have 2 children.
Okay.
And that's it.
Marriage?
I was married before. It didn't quite work out. Looking forward to getting married again soon.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
When I meet,
Miss Right.
when I meet Miss Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any names in mind?
Ladies, inbox me. Tony Friday is looking for a wife.
Yeah.
Tony, a lot of people have at specific encounters with you misunderstood who you are, Ranzano Dada, because
Really?
I guess because
This is the first time I'm hearing
are you
about
a
this.
quiet individual? Are
I'm
you
a very reserved individual. I'm not a very. I know this is going to sound silly because I DJ
Okay.
and I do events, but I'm a very reserved. I spend 90% of my time in my house,
and in your mind?
in my mind.
You are also a very important ambassador for mental health.
Yes.
You've had a couple of episodes yourself.
Yep. So what got me into the line of work initially was divorce back in 2010. Went through a divorce, found myself in a very weird, dark, emotional, mental space, and I attempted suicide twice.
Okay.
Coming out of that experience, without getting into detail, it suddenly hit me what poor mental health can do to a man. So I started.
At the time, did you understand what you're going through? And
I
what kind of
didn't have
assistance
names
did you get
for-
at all?
There was none.
Wow.
I think the intervention was one of my friends who kind of figured because when I attempted the second time, he was sort of like the closest person that I
Okay.
called,
Okay.
and then he took me to the hospital and all of that. So he's the person who took me to the pastor,
Okay.
who I sat with for many hours in those few months after what happened.
All right.
So we got to talk about things which I had never done as a man before. So I was 30 at the time. So went through the motions of understanding what I was going through because I didn't have names for what I was feeling. I just knew that I was angry, depressed, anxious,
Okay.
betrayed,
Yeah.
all kinds of things, and tired. Because I think the feeling that I remember most was just the feeling of being tired of living because of the pressure on the mind. So I think my mind started to shut down and I didn't know how to cope because you're still expected to be a useful member of society. I was running a radio station at the time,
That's madness.
responsible for 30 plus people, and you have to show up at work every single day and do things normally. So the conflict between what needs to be done
The pressure.
and the things that I was going through,
Yes.
it just got me to a point where I then just got tired.
Did you suffer a breakdown, a total breakdown at all?
I had a couple of breakdowns, but I never talked about them at the time. I can speak up about them comfortably now because I understand I wasn't the only one. This happens to a lot of men, especially people in the public eye.
Yeah.
Because now I was in South Africa dealing with fame at that point. I failed to cope, which led to the...
What's the thing about fame that you regret having now?
Pressure,
People
unrealistic...
expect for you to
unrealistic expectations.
do crazy things.
Yeah. I don't... I know this is going to sound weird because this is what we do for a living,
Okay.
but I don't like the idea of fame at all.
Okay.
I've never subscribed to the whole celebrity culture, like sort of like worship someone because they do something public for a living. That's silly. So that's...
Do you know people will kill for the kind of fame that
because they
you
don't
have
know,
today?
because they don't know what it comes with. It's things that we admire from afar, but without really getting an understanding of what it robs you of.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do without the fame. Yeah.
And the women, they love you, Tony. They want to marry you.
What makes you say that?
This
is the first time I'm hearing this.
My little brother, I know him really well.
It's
and
the first
women
time I'm
love you.
hearing about this.
Well, I'm telling you, they're crazy about you. How do you create a defensive mechanism to protect yourself?
I spend 90% of my time in my house.
Okay.
I stay out of trouble. I date one person at a time.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I will say about that.
Tony Friday, an amazing man. So Tony is a father of two beautiful
Girls.
girls.
Riley and Kim.
I'm also their father. And how's
Uncle
Kim?
Tich. She's
Uncle
good.
Tich.
Kim is doing
Amazing.
very well in school.
That's a-
She's in varsity year 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
They grow up so fast.
So quickly.
Yeah. And she wants an iPhone 17.
Imagine that. I have very vivid memories of you coming to our house back
Yeah.
in 2016.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was crazy about you.
Oh.
And you came with a box of it was a box of donuts.
Yes.
And she talked about it for the longest time. Where's Uncle Tich?
Yeah.
Where's Uncle
Oh,
Tich? And I'm
man.
like, attempted coups.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I almost won. I did.
Sorry,
I did.
bro,
Then I fell
sorry.
short.
Yeah.
You've been an amazing father to your kids, I guess, because of the relationship that you never had with your father.
You could say that. I think my father, in so many, may his soul rest in peace. You know, I adored my father. He was one of the most hardworking men that I know.
But now, do you understand that sometimes men forsake even their children because of love?
for the sake of provision.
Yes, for the sake of
so
provision.
the one thing that I think his solace was alcohol.
Okay.
So
And how come you never got into alcohol?
that's the point that I was getting to.
I guess so.
He inspired me never ever to drink. Not because alcohol is bad, but my association with alcohol growing up was always a negative one because that's the only exposure that I had. There was a bit of violence in the house, a bit of abuse because of alcohol. So I made a decision when I was very, very young. He was also not very present. He provided 100%, but he was never present. I don't ever remember a time when I sat down with my dad and he said to me, "I'm proud of you," or "I love you," or whatever. And you crave that as a kid. So I think that's what inspired me to become the kind of father that I've become now to my little girls. Because it's something that I never had. And we tend to overcompensate when we grow up.
Yeah.
But as I've come to realize now, there's nothing wrong with alcohol. It's just what people do with it that becomes the issue. So
it's your capacity to handle.
It's your capacity to handle alcohol. So I never tried it. Never sipped one drink, not one day.
If it's given to you to speak into the lives of your 2 daughters, what would you tell them?
Relax. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like, enjoy each phase of life as it happens. When you're young, you want to be old. And when you're old, you want to be young again. So the thing that I never did was, I did it, but I was always looking forward to a future that I never really got to enjoy certain moments, which I should have.
Enjoy the moment.
Enjoy the moment. Like, just be present, enjoy where you are, and know that, there's a greater force that is in control beyond you and your tiny little peanut brain.
Let's talk about that. You are a very spiritual individual. We've shared many spiritual content.
Yep, we have.
And encounters together. Do you think you got a calling? Is there a calling upon your life?
There's a massive calling. I feel the pull of my calling every single day.
Will you capitulate? Pastor Tony Friday.
I don't know if I would take it as far as being a pastor, but I definitely know that
there's a role to play.
I sense a huge calling upon my life to speak into the lives of many, especially in the arena of the mental and emotional health. Because of the lived experience that I've been through, and also just being alive in this country, in this continent, it teaches you certain things,
When Iran and Israel,
my gosh,
and America are at war.
There's definitely a lot I could share with the world, just about how to cope, just to get through the different seasons of life.
This has also become a business for you. You run an enterprise called Nani
Wellness. Yes. So after my experience, the near-death one, I became so passionate about mental health, which gave birth to a business in 2019. So Nani Wellness was started in 2019. So I'm a mental wellness entrepreneur. So I provide mental wellness services to some of the biggest brands in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
We currently support about 8,000 employees.
Wow.
Through
That's amazing.
we use digital platforms mostly to just allow employees an opportunity to reach out to a professional when they need it most, because people go through so much in the workplace. That's also where you spend most of your life. So
Yes.
as a business owner, there's a business case in you investing a certain amount of money in the mental,
in your people, in the mental health.
Yeah, because it also reflects on the bottom
of your
line.
human resource. Yeah.
Of the because the human resource is the most important resource you have as a company. So it started off as an experiment, and then around 2022, that's when we realized there's actually a massive need for this service. We recently launched in South Africa, and we're also starting to support the employees in SA.
Wow.
But yeah, this is what I do full time. This is my
this is your day-to-day now.
This is my day-to-day now. I do radio once a week on Sundays.
Yeah. Still very much alive in the gig circuit.
Not as active as I would like to be because of the traveling between SA and Zimbabwe. I only do gigs as in when I can. But I absolutely love especially when I play alongside you. And we've done some
amazing events together.
You know. And I also must say at this point, thank you for being a big brother, being a mentor, and being so selfless with what you have left, because you did radio and DJing to the highest level that I don't know any other Zimbabwean who has taken it as far as you have in so many different countries to that scale. So I still aspire to get to that level where, I mean, you walk with this guy in South Africa and you have the likes of DJ Fresh and Smooth calling this guy, and I'm like, who is this person, you know? So
wow, thank you.
So I've learned so much from you.
But I must also salute you because you've traded your amazing craft in Zambia, Malawi, South Africa.
Yeah, a little bit of Kenya.
And you also did radio in Kenya. How's your Swahili?
No. Kenya was very, very brief.
Okay.
Very brief, but I still know a little bit. The language that I speak very fluently is Chichewa, because that's my third language. Like I speak.
And you're only telling me
Chichewa.
this now.
Oh yeah, because I did 3 years in Malawi.
Okay.
I had to learn the language. I absolutely had to learn the language because I needed to communicate with people every single day, and it's also nicer to just communicate with people in their native language.
So your tongue is very easy with languages?
Oh yeah. Okay. I would like to think so. Yeah. I want to learn French and Spanish in the next year.
Oh, fantastic.
Also, yeah.
Fantastic. Tony Friday, I think a lot of people would want to know that you are possibly at the helm of your career. Okay. How do you best describe the future of social broadcasters, which is what we're dealing with now, as opposed to the old platforms, which are no longer popular, traditional terrestrial.
This is a debate. This is an ongoing conversation in the radio world.
Yes.
There's the camp that wants things to remain the same, because we are so emotionally attached to how we did radio back in the day. But I think the thing that has always put me ahead was my ability to adapt to new technology, new things coming on board,
new circumstances.
The only constant thing about life is change. And nobody can, especially now in the advent of AI and all of these things. I am having a time of my life incorporating AI into mental wellness, into radio, and just making radio better using these new amazing tools which are not there to replace anybody, but that are there to enhance how we communicate with people.
Yeah.
So
There's a conspiracy that eventually AI will take over the world and we shall all be ruled by a machine.
So interesting story. In the US, there was a station that introduced AI voices on air.
Okay.
And they did away with it because it just didn't feel the same.
Okay, that's interesting.
The communication was too
There's
perfect.
something about humanity.
So there's something about
that AI can never replace.
How flawed we are as humanity that everybody else can connect to. I think the reason why you and I can relate is the reason that we are all human.
Okay.
It's the imperfections in communicating that make us human, and that's where the beauty lies. And nobody you can make a perfect painting using AI, but who wants a perfect painting? Nobody.
It's the flaws that make us
the flaws.
human.
I mean, when you look at a tree, the tree is not asymmetrical. It's
and
it's
therein
weird.
lies the beauty.
And therein lies the beauty.
Yeah.
And why is it that we don't realize this when it comes to human interactions and all of that? So it's the fact that you are not perfect at how you communicate and what you do that makes us human, and that's what draws people to you, because nobody wants to be perfect.
Yeah. Tony Friday, you're such a radiohead and a collector when it comes to vinyls. Ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine? At one time, this album right here was the most sought after album.
So I used to get promo copies from Grammar Records, if you remember. ZMC,
Yes,
Grammar.
ZMC, Grammar.
So, they would send me copies for radio promo. I'm sure so you'd remember.
Simon Chopa Chimbetu, Lullaby.
Do you remember that?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Monica.
And of course, some Rod Stewart. I know you like rock.
I do.
Yeah. So I just brought a few. But I think I have over 6,000 in the house now. Because I collect these as a hobby.
And that's a lot of money now.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's a lot of money. I collect these as a hobby. So on Sundays, after church, before I come to radio, I will literally lock the house and just connect I have 4 turntables in my house, 2 professional ones and one of these, and 2 of these.
Okay.
So we just sit there and I listen to, there's nothing like listening to music from the original format, which is vinyl.
Vinyl.
That crackling sound at the beginning is out of this world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Tony Friday on the Tich Mataz Show. One of the greatest DJs Zimbabwe has ever produced, is a businessman and a mental health specialist. Tony Friday is my guest today. Tony, your favorite 3 artists from back then?
Local, international?
3 local, 3 international.
Chopper.
Of course.
Chopper, Tuku, Marshall Mulumum.
Of course.
Yeah.
And international?
International? Geez, that's tough.
That's tough.
It's a group. 112.
Oh, really?
Brandy and Whitney Houston.
Ah.
I love me some Whitney Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 is such it's an unfair because there's so many that I love, So, but I grew up on on a lot of these artists. Yeah.
3 current artists.
I would struggle. Let me tell you why. Because I am so stuck in the old school. I have not listened actively to new music. Not that I don't like it. No, I just connect better.
It doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't hit the same. So I am stuck in the 80s, 90s. That's sort of like my era, my go-to. But locally, I've had some cool stuff from, I like Tammy Moyo.
Yeah.
Amazing vocalist. Also like, Winky. I'm a big fan of Winky.
Winky or Jab Praiser? Which camp? Got you.
I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I see what you're trying to do. I don't want this to be clicked away and become a conversation.
Yes.
I admire Ja for his originality. He is unapologetically Zimbabwean. So I love that about him. And I like a couple of songs from him. And Winky D as well. Winky D because he's just been around for such a long time. And I remember him bringing CDs to radio when he was starting off, I think around 2004 or somewhere around that time. So I have an emotional connection with him from that era. So, yeah.
Okay. Radio then and radio now?
I think radio now is more effective in the sense that you don't just get to hear radio on the radio.
Okay.
Yeah, we are reaching out to a lot more people now than
several
we did
more
before.
Platforms.
Yes. We have the opportunity to be visual and to translate into other things.
Streaming, podcasts.
But I'll tell you this about radio back then. Radio back then was more actively listened to because of the fact that it was the only medium which was available.
Only platform.
The only platform. Do you remember a time when Peter Johns would say, for the first time on radio?
Do you know what I mean?
And it really was the first time on the radio.
I'm telling you.
So we relied on radio.
You know, the funny thing is with us DJs, it was really competitive.
Yeah.
Who gets to play, a new track?
You were always ahead of the time then, because you spent a lot of, you would fly to the UK
just to go buy records.
How do you compete with
that?
You know
what I mean?
So I remember a couple of songs that you introduced on the radio. I'm not going to mention them now because some of them are not radio friendly, but I used to hear stories of you doing 4 or 5 gigs in a night.
Yes.
That was crazy.
I know. I was a lot younger.
Yeah. So.
And I had the necessary resources to get by.
And also, you guys created fans for life. Back then, which is not the case now because there's just too much happening. There's too much clutter. There's too many personalities. There's too many people doing the same thing. And it's very difficult to stand out from the rest. So
you spoke about originality and authenticity.
Yes. So the reason why people still remember you, why you are still relevant to your people now is the fact that you stamped yourself on these people when in their formative years, when they were teens, when they were in their early 20s. So you literally walked people through from high school to marriage, to having kids, to becoming grandmoms.
And sometimes
how do you forget somebody like that?
Sometimes I encounter individuals who say to me, "Oh, Tich Mataz, how you doing? You my grandma's favorite DJ." And I'm thinking, grandma,
granddad,
granddad.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but
yeah. Radio as a business, did it take care of you? Were you comfortable? What would you change if you were in a place to make certain decisions about radio?
Radio management took care of me because radio management both
perks were better.
Yeah, the perks were better because I started off as a radio presenter, became a programming manager, then started stations. I launched 2 here in Zimbabwe. 98.4 in Gweru and Heavoi in Masvingo from ground up, like literally. So obviously when you're doing that, when you have that level of responsibility, you are compensated accordingly. So radio management paid me really well, but radio opened other doors that paid me through other, avenues.
It's the network.
Yes, there's some business that I get from certain companies just because I am who I am. You know what I mean?
Because you're Tony Friday.
Yes. Okay. So that's something that has worked to my advantage over the years. Yeah.
Father of 2 beautiful daughters. Do you think any of them will get into radio?
Kemi wants to sing at some point. In fact, she wants
much like the father. When you were young, you were also
she wants to start a pediatric clinic. That's what we're working towards now.
Oh, lovely.
We've registered a business. So as soon as she's finished with varsity, we're going to start a pediatric clinic here in Harare. And then, sort of like expand to other. But she's an amazing voice. She likes classical jazz, and she also listens to a ton of old school. I mean, there was no escaping that.
Old school, 24 hours a day.
So the younger one, I'm yet to figure out what it is that she wants to get into. She's still very young. So,
true. Tony Friday, if you were to speak to young Zimbabweans internationally, if you were to talk to those who aspire to be musicians or to be broadcasters, what would you tell them?
I know this is going to sound very common, but I want to say it in a way that I hope is going to hit different with someone. your breakthrough is tied to how unique you are as a human being. So if it's a business that you start, whatever craft that you're going to get into, please tie it to how unique you are as an individual, because nobody can compete with that. You are who you are, created for a purpose. You are going to stand out because of how unique you are. Look at it like this. We are all shining lights, but we're different colors, but it's all the same light, just manifesting itself in different.
The spectrum is very wide.
Yeah, there's nuances in between. Some are bright red, some are bright green, and so just find.
What color are you?
I think I'm a deep green, because I love life. I love nature. I see a lot of God in nature. I connect to nature very easily. I connect with God through nature, just seeing how amazing His power and majesty is just by looking at the things that He has
The
created.
very personal encounters we shall not share publicly. God has spoken to you in many different ways. What has He said to you?
Lately, He's been reminding me how much He loves me. Not generally, as Tony. So He has a specific love language that He's using in the last 2 years of my life, where He puts me in spaces that I'm not supposed to be in, and that is His love language for me, qualifying me for places that I'm not qualified for. But of course, He's the one who qualifies me. So, but that's His love language for me. So He's speaking to me about a lot of His love, just how He's reminding me and telling me how loved I am.
Amen.
Through the things that happen in my life, incidences, opportunities, just you have no choice but just bow down and say, you know what, Dad, I see you, I see what you're doing, I see you, I feel you, and I appreciate you.
Pastor Tony Friday, thank you for being part of this amazing show.
Thank you for having me, man.
Loved each and every moment of it.
Yeah. We should jam together sometime.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Before you jet out again to Joburg, let's do some stuff together.
We put together something. I'll be more than happy to come and share some records.
The Endangered Tony Friday on the Tich Mataz Show. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Tanotenda.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.